morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at a lovely new secret rare that is coming along in Crimson Haze. Twilight Masquerade, of course, for us. And we need to be having a little bit of a look at some pretty playable cards as well. Some cards that could end up being pretty gosh darn nice. Sound like a plan? Excellent. So let's start off with Special Illustration Rare Lana. We knew Lana was coming. I showed you t'other day that Lana was coming because, of course, we got the sleeves. And when we have sleeves releasing at the same time as the set, they're always depicting characters or Pokemon from the set. That wasn't some massive big prediction. And then I showed you the full art the other day and I said, look, this is what they tend to do. If there's going to be a special illustration rare, they generally don't tell us at the same time as when the full art is revealed on the YouTube channel. They tend to show us later. Maybe we were going to be getting a special illustration rare Lana. Maybe we weren't. Well, we are. And it is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely beautiful. Way better than the full art. The full art is fine. I don't dislike the full art. It's quite nice. But the special illustration rare here is lovely. For anyone that's forgotten, the card lets you get free in any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy from your discard pile into your hand. It is both better and worse than Clara. Clara lets you get 4 cards total, which is obviously better, and because you can get 2 Pokemon, 2 energy. And Clara does let you get rule box Pokemon, which is obviously better, but Clara doesn't let you get free Pokemon or free energy. It has to be 2 of each max. So I still think Clara is better, incidentally, although worth pointing out, Clara does rotate as, you know, Clara's rotated in Japan, and this is just coming out. So yes, this replaces Clara, but it is better in one way, worse in 2. Overall, probably a worse card. But one thing we need to point out, and I know I'm not the only one that's pointed it out, but I'm going to point it out anyway. What is up with background Wooper in special illustration rare cards? We got a random background Wooper here just kind of sitting, chilling out in the distance. Just like we had it with the special illustration rare Gardevoir that came around in Paldean Fates. Now, at least for Lana, you've got water-type Pokemon trainer, so it kind of makes sense to have a Wooper chilling there in the back. Gardevoir, it really didn't. Why is there a random Wooper chilling in the pool? Don't know. Why is there a random Wooper chilling with Lana when there's a billion other water Pokemon out there? Especially when you face her as a trial captain in Sun and Moon and she doesn't have a Wooper. Don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know. Love it, though. Absolutely love it. Keep an eye out for Wooper. Now, there are a couple fighting Pokemon I am particularly fond of that are getting new cards in this set. And let's start off with Ting-Lu. As far as I am concerned, and it's my video, so it's kind of, you know, me giving my opinion here. Ting-Lu's the best Treasure of Ruin. Look at all the Treasures of Ruin. Who's the best? Ting-Lu. Feel that very strongly. Is this new card any good? Well, I have done a translation myself, although I have checked with a lovely Antoine Boulet, just to make sure I'm not doing a silly. And we've got single energy, 30 damage. If there is a stadium card in play, discard it and do 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I am sad that it has taken me this long to get to talk about this card. It was revealed on Friday. I've had to wait till Monday. I am sorry. I've just not had a video that it fits in. I'm really sorry, okay? I'm doing my best. But the point is, I love this card. This has real Tapu Koko vibes. And since we've been talking about Lana, let's keep Gen 7 going for a minute. This has proper job Tapu Koko vibes. I'm talking, of course, about the original single price Tapu Koko that for 2 colorless energy did 20 to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Well, this does 30. And it's for a single energy, not a double colorless. And it's got 30 more HP, which is pretty good, actually. And it hits a better weakness as well. Now, there's a lot of downsides. It doesn't have free retreat. And there's got to be a stadium in play, and you've got to discard it. Obviously, the ideal situation here is where your opponent has a stadium in play, and you get to get rid of it while doing 30 to everything. That's amazing. But even if you have to put your own stadium in play, and then discard it in order to get this damage out, I'm not sure that's the worst thing ever, if I'm honest with you. I really like this card. And I think if you're playing basic fighting energy, There's going to be times this is awesome, but there's going to be a bunch of other times where it's turn 1, you're going second. You've got a stadium and an energy. Why not? Honestly, why not? Love this card. I give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. Love Ting-Lu. Love the artwork. Love the HP on a basic Pokemon. Love single energy attack on a basic Pokemon doing really well. You'll notice I haven't mentioned the second attack, and that's deliberate. It's garbage. But you know what's not garbage? The first attack. The first attack is awesome. Speaking of fighting Pokemon that I like a lot, how about Hawlucha? I have 4 Pokemon models on my desk right now as I record this. We've obviously got Mamoswine, and there's a Piloswine to go with it. And we've then got Beware and Hawlucha. I love Hawlucha. Is this new Hawlucha any good? Well, what we basically got is, we got 50 damage for 2 energy, which incidentally is not good. Let's be clear. 50 damage, 2 energy, nah mate, not loving that. But there's a catch. And the catch is that if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and for what it's worth, it does have to be more, not the same amount or more, it does 140. It's not bad. Now, it's not perfect, just to be clear. The 2 energy does put me off quite a bit here. And yeah, I know we've got stuff like Gutsy Pickaxe, which you can use, but it's not exactly a great option here, admittedly, right? But 280? Yeah, honestly. 280 is really nice. I mentioned that fighting hit's a good weakness. You know, 280 with weakness, obviously 140 without, but 280 with weakness, that is enough to go and get a 1-hit KO on an Arceus. And it's enough to get a 1-hit KO on a Miraidon. And on an Iron Hands. There are a lot of irrelevant Pokemon that you can get a KO on here for 2 energy on a single prize Pokemon. I really wish we had a really clear and easy way to go and get that second energy on. There are plenty of ways to get it on, but like if you're a lightning Pokemon, you use Electric Generator, and you're like, oh yeah, no mate, that makes perfect sense. But you can't use that for this. So getting the energy on is a little bit awkward, I grant you. But if you get the energy on, go behind on prizes, you are getting some good important KOs here. This could be one that is absolutely worth taking a look at. But then a new fighting Pokemon I like to look at. What about some new psychic Pokemon? What about Enamorus? I know not everybody is. I'm going to go there. Enamored with this Pokemon. Nailed it. But this one could actually be pretty good. 120 HP on a basic, alright. Single energy, 30 damage, meh. But free energy, 80 damage, if any of your Pokemon is the same type as any of your opponent's Pokemon in play, you do 200 instead. You do 120 more. That's actually really good. And there's an obvious candidate for this, it's Lost Box. 2 reasons why Lost Box is a great candidate for this. Firstly, you've got Mirage Gate, so getting the energy on is nice and easy. Yes, I am aware that would also work for Hawlucha, but it's not as... 2 fighting energy is what puts me off. Here, you're going to be playing Psychic Energy for Sableye anyway. So, it's Psychic double colourless. You're going to be playing Mirage Gate, you're going to be playing Psychic Energy, if it's really nicely in there. And obviously, Lost Box, you're playing multiple different types of Pokemon. So match, and you only need to match one of your Pokemon to one of your opponents, and then you're good to go. I actually really like this. Outside of Lost Box, it's not terrible. You know, whack it in a Gardevoir deck, for instance. Now, it's a lot harder to match typings here, but you're generally going to be playing Greninja, your Radiant Greninja, and a lot of other decks will also play Radiant Greninja. So, essentially, you're just trying to match Radiant Greninja with Radiant Greninja, and then you accelerate the energy with Gardevoir and do 200, or maybe they play a Psychic Pokemon. Could work. Or maybe they play Luminion, and Luminion is the same as your Radiant Greninja, and then you're rolling in that regard. So, this, I'm giving this 4 Wassies, because free energy 200 on a single prize Pokemon is really good if you can accelerate the energy, and there are 2 decks where this would fit, where you can accelerate the energy pretty nicely. This is pretty good. And then we have to talk about Florges, and look, I like Florges. I want to like Florges a lot more than I actually do. And here's the problem. Stage 2. And I know we've done this like a million times at this point, where I go, hey, it's a really good Pokemon, oh, but be careful, it's a stage 2, but I'm sorry, this is a really good Pokemon, but be careful, it's a stage 2. I'm sorry, but that is the way it is. Now, the attack here is hot garbage, 2 energy, 140, nah, mate. 140 HP on a stage 2 when that's literally what Ting-Lu had, nah, mate. But I love the ability. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, you can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active, and the new active Pokemon is now confused. I really love it. Absolutely love it. You get to choose which Pokemon becomes active, which is amazing. As a side note, the English wording always says switch one of your opponent's bench with their active, and it can be confusing, especially for newer players. The Japanese text literally says select one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, switch it with their active, so it's extremely clear that you get to choose what comes active. And then, of course, they're confused. Yay! But it's a stage 2. Get this dude out, and then every turn you've got a free Pokemon catcher, but it's better than Pokemon catcher because they're confused when they become active. But it's a stage 2. And I'm sorry that I keep repeating it's a stage 2, but I'm sorry, you need to know it's a stage 2. But now you know it's a stage 2. I'm giving it 3 Wassies because there's oodles of potential here. I absolutely adore this. I'm just not, we've seen this too many times in the past where we got really good Pokemon with really good abilities and we all look at it and we're like, oh my goodness, that ability's busted. And as a side note, it is. But no one's going to make space in their deck for a stage 2 like this. And then no one ever plays it. And everybody gets sad. Never mind. That's what you got, ladies and gentlemen. They're the new cards, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this, Lana. Is it one of your chase cards for the set? Tell me what you think about these news cards I've just shown you. Do any of them look like they're going to make a big impact? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely The Unknown One, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.